How do you like that entry? Hey, what's up, Dad Bods and Drop Shots? Welcome to the Build Show. Again, good evening. Hey, what's up, JJ? Vlogs? How's it going? Welcome to the Build Show. And Jar of Dirt. You like the new waiting screen? Thank you. Pretty cool in here, huh? I think the light's a little bright, though. How's everybody doing tonight? Hey, what's up, Gary Smith? Welcome to the Build Show. Over on the Tube of You. Well, everyone, welcome to the Build Show. I'm your host, Ben Estrino, over here at the Empower Gaming Studio. I know, isn't it cool? I could do this with my arm. You like turtles? I think we all like turtles. The turtle beat the hare in the race. Just remember that. Hey, what's up, Lethal Wick? What's going on? Welcome to the Build Show. Dad Bods, you doing pretty good? Nice. Metal Spring, doing pretty good. Still getting all settled in your new place? Yeah, you're going to have to give me an update of how it's going out there. All right, guys, we got a pretty cool one for you, so come on over. Go to the build table. It's just over there. Let's go. All right, here we go. This build, this one is for you, Jaden. Oh. Boy, it got really quiet there. Hold on, let me go find out what's going on with the music. Not as epic anymore. Oh. There's the music. You don't like turtles anymore. Well, man, I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how I can help you with that. Hey, Jaden, my friend. Oh, you know Jaden? Well, this is her build. We're doing her PC. We're building it. Tonight is the night her PC is built. Officially. All right, let's go ahead and run through the build out. Now that we have everybody's attention after playing Where's the Music. The audio level's pretty good, guys. Is the Frozen Infinity AIO same price as the Note? No, this is slightly, just a little bit more expensive because it's a newer product. They don't have probably a ton of them out there, and it's probably a little bit more expensive to make. The fans are also a little higher quality fans, so they're slightly more expensive than the Frozen Note. You can take a look at it. It's on Amazon. Hey, what's up, Army Vet? Welcome to the Saturday night Build Show as we enter halfway through the weekend. This is going to be the last build stream of the week, but there's always next week starting on Monday, so we'll see how things go. All right, guys, Jaden's build. We're going to start off with the CPU. We're going to kind of run through the build out and see what we got in this thing. We're going to start with the CPU, which is the AMD Ryzen 5 5600X. It's got the 6 cores, 12 threads, a 4.6 gigahertz maximum boost. It's an AM4 socket. We're going to be running the thermal paste that is included with the Frozen Infinity by Thermalright, which is the Thermalright TF7. That's our thermal paste that we're going to be using. The cooler, being the Thermalright Frozen Infinity, is a 360 millimeter AIO. It's got a 360 mm radiator with 3 120 millimeter PWM addressable RGB fans. And one of the key things to take away on this cooler specifically is that it's got the mirror finishes on the side, which light up with some RGB lights. Also has the mirror on the block itself on top of the CPU. So it's a really cool feature. Very mimicky to Lian Li's Infinity fans that they have out there, and their blocks. We also have some additional fans that are also matching Infinity fans that we're going to be adding to the case. But moving on to the next component is the B550 by Gigabyte. This is the Gigabyte B550 Aorus Elite AX V2 ATX motherboard. It's a great solid board for aim-4. And then we have our RAM, which we have 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 CL16. This is the Pinnacle, don't know how to pronounce this name. But I wanted white RAM with addressable RGB, and I have used this brand several times before, just not this particular kit. So I trust the brand. And usually if I'm using this kit, or a kit similar to it, it's going to be the Team Group T-Force Delta addressable RGB in white. The problem was that those were ridiculously expensive right now. Don't know why. And also, they're a little taller, and they hang off the edge of the clip, which may impede the positioning of this cooler. So I wanted to make sure that it fit, and this kit will do that. So next we have a 1 terabyte M.2 NVMe Gen 4 SSD. This is the MP44L, which is about a 5,000 megabits read-write speed. So it's a very fast, snappy drive. You're gonna feel the snappiness whenever you're loading up a game, really, is where you'll notice the speed. And then the graphics card, we originally were gonna go with the RTX 3060, but we went ahead with the 4060 because we could get the white 4060 graphics card by Gigabyte, which is the ICE version, for almost the same price. So that's why we grabbed that. We have a 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply that we're going to be using in the system here, and this is by Cedratep. It is not modular, so we'll have all the extra cables, but it's okay. We have plenty of room in the back of the case that we're building in, which is the Height Y60, which is a product of iBuyPower, but it is still one of the best modern aesthetic cases that came out in 2023/24, and still one of the leading cases. So it's one of the best cases you could build in today. The graphics card will be vertical because we do have the vertical adapter, or riser is what we call it, and that's included with the case. So we'll be doing a vertical graphics card. And we also have some power supply extension cables that are showing pink and white. And specifically I wanted these ones because they have the white ends on them, not the black ones. It'll look pretty cool. Dad Bod's having a decent evening, doing some gaming, watching football, ironing out the computer. Nice. No, that's good. Yeah, football's always good. I can't wait for NFL tomorrow. I've got a whole bunch of lineups going tomorrow. But yeah, that is the build out. We'll get a better look at the case here once we get past the first step, which is installing the CPU, the RAM, the SSD, and also if they're already mounting brackets, which I believe this one does, onto the motherboard. You guys ready to start? You guys ready for this? Let's get started, shall we? We're gonna move some of this out of the way because we don't need all of it piled up here in front of us as we build. But we do need CPU, RAM, the SSD. That we do need. And the motherboard. Yeah? Let's do it. So I'm figuring this build's probably going to be about an hour and maybe an hour or 30 minutes or so. So we should be done around 9:40 to 10 o'clock. Zach, my fantasy team name is Dad Bods. Thought you were talking. No, I'm talking to Dad Bods and Dropshot over on Twitch. That's actually his name, Zach. His name, and I love that, by the way. I've always loved that name. But yeah, my buddy Zach, who's in the Fantasy Football League, is actually in the YouTube chat, Dad Bods. And his fantasy team name is Dad Bods. Kind of ironic, isn't it? All right, let's get a nice zoom on this motherboard. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Both of you do. My team name may not be totally appropriate. All right, so I just opened this guy up, but this is the AMD Ryzen 5 5600X, and I don't know why it's not. Come on, focus. There we go. The autofocus kicked in. Got 6 cores, 12 threads. Absolute legend of a CPU for us gamers. With this particular CPU, the pins are on the CPU itself. So if we flip this over, these are, you know, hundreds of pins on the back of this CPU. So the number one thing here is don't bend those pins while you're doing that install. I don't know why my camera's struggling so bad with the focus today. But we have tons of pins on the back of this, so always handle this CPU with care. There's a gold triangle on the corner of this, which goes to this corner up here. So you just line that bad boy up and kind of feel it till it drops in, and then we know that the pins are all lined up, and then this hammer just closes, and that kind of locks the CPU in, so it's not going to fall out. That is probably the most dangerous part of this entire build. Steve Anderson, I love Tubi. I just watched Slither, great horror movie. Oh, nice. I've actually never seen that. All right. Zach corrected me. His team name is actually Dad Bods RN. Which we, you know, all of us dads agree with that, right? 100%. Dad Bods RN. So this is our 32 gigabytes DDR4 3200 megahertz CL16 memory by Pinnacle. Pinnacle. It is white and it is addressable RGB. That is what we wanted. Next up is our 1 terabyte M.2 NVMe SSD by Team Group, which is the MP44L. We're going to drop this into this slot right here. We do have to remove this heat spreader. And this heat spreader, all it does is transfer the heat off the top of this SSD, and then allows it the opportunity to passively cool using the airflow inside the case. So it helps keep the SSD nice and chill. And on the bottom of this heat spreader is a thermal pad, and that's what transfers the heat off of the SSD and onto the metal heat spreader. And there we go. Our SSD is installed, our RAM is installed, our CPU is installed. Next up is we're going to check these brackets because I'm pretty sure we have to remove those for the cooler and install specific brackets for the cooler. That being said, I'm going to open up the Frozen Infinity and get the hardware kit out of this, because we need that for the next step. Can I get a shout out to Heather and Steven, please? Heather and Steven, here's your shout out. I'm not a professional shouter. But thank you, Steven. And thank you, Heather. The message was retracted. Oh no. The message might get retracted, but it actually still shows up in our chat over here. Well, that works too. All right, we're going to be using our LTT door screwdriver from Linus Tech Tips. Again, we're going to see how many builds this can do. How long can it survive? I think we started at build number 152 or 151. Oh, I'd have to go look at the videos and see exactly which one we started with, but so far it's survived a few builds. How many can it go for? Still going strong, though. I haven't noticed any degradation in its performance. Good. All right, so we have our block hardware installed to the socket, so we're good to go there. Hey, what's up? Yay, finally made it to the live stream, Ben. I just want to say the rig you built me is running flawlessly. Joshua, build number 146, 2024. Awesome. That's, I just love it when people come back in here and tell me that. They give me an update. Usually no news is good news, right? But I always like hearing, you know, how good things are running. Is G-Skill a G-Skill good brand? I'm planning to buy G-Skill Ripjaws V for DDR4 32 gigabytes. Yes. G-Skill is an excellent brand. Lethal, what CPU are you putting, or are you pairing that RAM with? What CPU are you running? Because I could tell you which speed to get. I made it, but I'm driving. Tad, don't get into any trouble or into an accident or something. I know you like watching PC builds, but all right. So the motherboard is ready to go. All we got to do is do some peels here. A couple of peels up here. We got to peel off. But yes, G.Skill is one of the top brands. One of the best that you can buy. In fact, I have piles of G.Skill over here. Let's get the case out, guys. It's time. It's time to reveal the case. The Height Y60. Trying to get home from work. Had an unusually busy day. I totally get you, man. Hey, what's up, Mitch? Welcome to the Saturday night build show. Kenneth. Hey, Ben. 4070 Ti Super running great. As well, no PS Pro from me. No PS Pro for me. Nice. I'm glad you're staying away from that thing. Do you know if the brackets are the same as a Thermalright AIO, or they are, actually, Steven Anderson. The brackets for this AIO is the same bracket as the Peerless Assassin or the Assassin 120 SE. So they are the same. Yes. The mounting kit, same exact thing. Which I love, by the way, with Thermalright, because you could very easily swap out from different coolers and you don't have to change out that hardware, which is kind of cool to me. Lethal said you had a Ryzen 5 5600X. So yeah, the faster the RAM, the better for AMD Ryzen. But I would recommend the G.Skill Ripjaws 5, DDR4 32 gigabytes, which is the 3200 megahertz CL16. That would probably be the ideal speed for your setup. If you could get faster timing, meaning lower timing, like CL14, even better. But CL16 is pretty much the sweet spot. And then your XMP profile or DOCP or whatever you want to call it will probably be very easy to set up in like one click. Shouldn't have a problem doing that. Kenneth, I take it, Ben, you're not a fan of the PlayStation Pro? No, not for the price. Not for the price, man. The price is, in my opinion, too high for a console. Even if it's a Pro. It just seems like it's a little pricey. Like, what are we at? Like $800 for it? Mitch, I failed on getting my AIM-5 PC working, went through 2 motherboards, both failed, going back to AIM-4. Damn. Mitch, did we take a look at your PC at all? I'm just curious. Thank you, Ben. Wanting an AIO. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah. And I have mounting brackets here if you need any. Lots of them. There it is, guys. The Height Y60. I'm building a Ryzen 7 5700G. I don't game. I think it's the first time I caught you live. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you need help looking at that AIM-5 problem, I wonder if it's not your RAM. What RAM do you have in that build? If you have the model or at least the kind of like what Letha was telling me about earlier. DDR5, like 16 or 32 gigs, if you have 2 sticks or not, and then the speed, like 6,000 megahertz, and then your CL has latency timing. Been thinking about getting a 240 millimeter and 360 Thermalright AIO. I'd say the Frozen Note's probably one of the best, but these new ones have really cool new flavor to them, like a new look. So it's a little different. I took it all back to Micro Center. The dump files were saying CPU overheating, even though I thought it never went over 60 Celsius. It might be the RAM overheating then. DDR5 has had those types of problems. So I wouldn't rule that out yet. How do I open this top? I don't remember. It's been a while. Ah, thought I just lifted. It did. Easy. Tempo. I don't know. It's been like 9 months since I built in this case, which is kind of weird because this is like one of the best-selling cases this year. Right, now I remember this whole situation. So, this situation is going to be awkward because I'm going to have to put the fans down here and the radiator up here. So that means I have to split the fans that are already on there. Slightly annoying, but not the end of the world. I was just trying to remember. It's been like a few months. Oops. This is our hardware kit we need. Okay. Get back to business here, shall we? So we're going to get the motherboard installed. In order to do that, I have to remove this PCIe slot that's here. This is our riser cable. This is what will connect our vertical cable to the motherboard. I'm just going to lift that up temporarily, like that. And then we'll slide our motherboard in, all sneaky like. I'm not sure I'm gonna screw that down quite yet, because I'm afraid that later, when we get around to plugging the front panel stuff in, which is actually pretty much the next step here. Gosh darn it. Thought we were screwing into that. Hold on. There we go. So I'm not going to screw this in yet, but I'm going to leave it there loose because we might have to take it back out. Hello. Where should one get to test their CPU? I know there's a Valley benchmark. So there's going to be a couple of different tools, but one I would recommend running to test your CPU is OCTZ or something like that. Right? Hold on. It's OCCT. Let me drop that into the chat. That is the tool that you'll want to use, that you can run to really test your CPU. That's normally or typically a tool you'll run to verify stability when you're overclocking. But even if you're not overclocking, you can run it as a test to test the CPU to see if it's stable or not, just at stock settings. Mitch, man, I made like 6 100-mile round trips to Micro Center. I switched out the RAM, everything but the CPU and motherboard. The one I'm building now is from Amazon. Huh. You'd get random reboots when running at 6,000 MTS. Okay. What motherboard and CPU combo was it? And the RAM, if you don't mind. Let's start it here in the chat further down. Micro Center sells 9600X bundles with single stick 16 gigabytes. I know, it's dumb. The CL40 is just like garbage RAM. I actually just had somebody with an iBuyPower in here who had a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D with frozen I can't even remember the brand name. It was it's one of those like random off brands. And I think Micro Center actually Froza Neo or Neo Froza might be the brand. Drawing a blank on that, but it was CL40 5200 as well. And I'm like, iBuyPower, but that's kind of crap inside of a PC. It's just dumb. So we ended up swapping that out to proper RAM, and thankfully the motherboard took it. It was also one of those gigabyte specific boards for iBuyPower or CyberPower. I think it was iBuyPower though. But yeah, it was crap RAM. Auroras. Hey Jamal, what's up? Even running at 5200, I'd get random reboots and never crashed running 4800, but really tried mostly 6000. Yeah. Well, you know, RAM's not perfect, motherboard's not perfect, and CPUs are never perfect, and none of them are ever the same. So it could be that, you know, just the combination of the 3 specific parts that you have could be part of the problem. One of my many reasons I had been build my PC is I've heard many horror stories from Micro Center pre-builds. Yes, there's been a few. I can tell you the horror stories trying to get parts to work right on my AM5 build. I just can't afford to drive 100 miles over 6 times swapping out parts. Yeah, I don't blame you. You're Canadian? Hey, Jonkler. Jonkler. I hope I'm saying that right. You're Canadian? I get deep cool American? Can't have. Oh. Oh, he's just coming into the chat to rub it in that you could get deep cool and we can't. Come on, guys. Think of something we have that Canadians don't. Quick, quick, quick. And I ain't smuggling no deep cool into America. I'm not going to ask you to. That is quite frustrating. I know it is. It is. I'm sorry, Mitch. It was Asus ROG Strix B650A Gaming. The RAM I did switch out with G-Skill. Did you do the Flare X? Or did you do the Ripjaws? Or did you do the Trident Z Neo? Which Ripjaws did you go, or G-Skill did you go to? Was on the Asus QVL list, but still would crash. Did you do the BIOS update as well, I'm assuming? I'd rather ran 4800 MT stock speed than 5200 CL40. Yeah, but you're still going to run CL40. The timing on that is just so poor. No Micro Center for little old Canada. Oh yeah, you don't have Micro Center, so how about that? But you guys have something else, don't you? You have something similar to Micro Center? I always hear Linus talk about it, which, by the way, I have a piece of Linus right here. We're testing this out. We're giving this the old, how many PCs can this survive? The first set was Flare, the second was Neo. And they both gave you problems? Yeah. Yeah, that's some of the most stable stuff out there. 6000 CL30. 6000 megahertz CL30. Canada computers in not that bad though. Oh, okay. Mantos 300. What CPU and GPU do we have in this build? We have the Ryzen 5 5600, and this is a B550 Aorus, Gigabyte Aorus Elite AX V2 motherboard that we're putting in here. So, more budget friendly on the core components, but the aesthetics are going to look pretty badass, and it's a pretty well-balanced system, I think. We got 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, 3200 CL16, 216 gig sticks by Pinnacle, and we also have an RTX 4060, which is also a Gigabyte card. So all we're going to really need is the Gigabyte Control Center in here, right? The deep cool smuggling trade is popping off right now. I mean, I've switched over to like Thermalright and Lian Li. I mean, there's so many other brands out there. It's not really. It's frustrating because I had deep cool in a lot of my pre-builds on my website, and I had to go through and remove a bunch of those. And I think there still might be 1 or 2 components out there in one of my builds that says it's going to come with a deep cool product, but it will get swapped out for something else. So I'm thinking CPU is bad. That's the only other thing I could say. But you had enough swapping out parts. Yeah, if you've swapped out the RAM, you've swapped out the motherboard already, and the only thing left is the CPU, it's probably the CPU. Because the memory controller is on that CPU. That's what controls the memory. You did a great job with the Quantum Prime PC. And the thermals, never seen my GPU get above 65 Celsius, and the CPU didn't go over 66. Why I asked for a place to test my CPU. Yeah, if you ever need to bring a CPU in here, Jar of Dirt, if you're local, or if you need to ship me one, I can test it here. But the OCCT is going to be a good place to start for testing CPUs on the PC right there. I can also help you remotely and try to test it with you. You guys can keep that one guy named Carter PCs. We'll keep Linus. Yeah, I don't know if that's... I honestly don't even know who Carter PCs is. Carter PCs. The CPU and the motherboard was the only part left. Like, I know, I'm familiar with all our big names out there, like Linus Tech Tips, Jay's 2 Cents, Paul's Hardware, and then there's a few others that I follow as well. But I'm gonna focus on this. Dad Bods and Drop Shots. I love my Y60, the Snow White too. Yeah, so it's the same case, Dad Bods. We're building in the same case right now. This is the Snow White as well. So we're building in the same case. CPU and the motherboard was the only parts left to swap. Oh, okay. Well, yet. I mean, shoot. Geister. Now I can see where I went wrong. No, I actually, the last time I did this build, it was for a streamer. Unuzi was the streamer name. I think he's like changed his name since then. But we were doing the EKW AIO in this build, and it ended up being that the EKW build AIO was too long and was running into the corner of this bend right here. So we ended up having to take this off stream, the case, and I had to sawzall or grind away. It was a grinder, but I just had to grind away a big chunk of the case in order for the AIO to fit. It was kind of stupid how dumb this design was. What I mean by that is there's a little lip in here that you probably can't see very well, but this lip impedes any AIO radiators that are longer than your typical size, slightly, by like the smallest amount. It just won't fit unless you cut into the case, which I had to do, which was a little frustrating. That's my only complaint in the case. Other than that, I think it's a great case. The other complaint is if you have a beefy card, it's right up on the glass, and there is a little bit of airflow problems when you have it vertical up on the glass. This particular build is not going to have that problem because it's only a 2-slot card. But if you have a 3-slot card and it's right up on the glass, then you'll have some airflow trouble with the graphics card. And the only way to fix that is to either remove the glass panel or get a custom glass panel that has a mesh side to it, which there are people out there on Etsy that make them. They take forever to get to you, and there's no warranty or support behind it, so you're just paying and gambling to see what you get. But I have seen a couple of sellers that do really good work on those. It's a bit snug. I bought the corner screen for mine. I haven't put it in yet. I don't know if I will. Yeah, no, the corner screen is another option that you can get. It's an additional option that will replace, or I can't remember if it goes in here behind the glass or if it replaces the glass. I think it replaces the glass. And then you have this screen right here on the corner of the case, which is really cool. But I think it's like $100 or so, $150 for that whole kit from, you know, height. Very expensive. It replaces the glass, that's what I thought. I've personally never put one in these because, you know, we're always throwing all the money at the build itself, and then that's kind of like the upgrade path. And I just haven't had the opportunity to put one in yet. So, but the Y70 Touch looks pretty badass, you know? The first motherboard was the Gigabyte Aurora Elite Ice. Yeah, that should be a great board. Beautiful whiteboard. It would not boot at all. Damn. I feel like you might have needed to do unless the CPU is the problem, but I feel like you needed to do a BIOS update. Did you try to do a BIOS flashback update? Oh my god, so I'm so ready to upgrade my GPU. I have an i7 14700K and you have an RX 580. That's quite, God bless me. God bless you. That's quite the distance between your CPU and your graphics card. But all right guys, let's get back to building this here. And Mitch, if you need any help trying to troubleshoot that, we can schedule a call. We can try to figure it out together. At least we'll get down to kind of a better idea of what we should replace or try next. But I would like you to try to do a BIOS update before you try sending everything back. It might be just the versions of the boards that you're getting are just old. Yes, my thumb drive was blinking for over an hour. Okay, you tried to... So you already tried that. Huh. Sniper Matt! So this case would not be recommended for me and my shenanigans, as per usual, no. Sniper Matt, I would recommend you to get an open case design, meaning like the Thermalright, what do you call it? I can't think of the name. But anyway, it's all open airflow concept. That would be more ideal or fitting for you, Sniper Matt. That removes the walls so you can do whatever you need to do. I've seen some of your stuff. You took it all back? Alright. I'm sorry you had so much trouble, man. You're gonna have, what AM4 build are you gonna go with then? Like a Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, or? No problem, Jar of Dirt. We'll be here. So far, we're pretty slow. Ah. You guys distracted me so much, I forgot. Nice. Oh, I've never done that before. I'll add that one to the list. In my head, I had already screwed this board in. There's no way we haven't done that yet. Gosh. That was a special moment, guys. Thermaltake P3, yes, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of, Sniper Matt. That would probably be a really good fit for you. Or one of those styled cases. Gave up on Micro Center, that's why I'm doing a AIM-4, that parts from Amazon Ryzen 7 5700G. Okay, that's right, you mentioned that. So the Ryzen 7 5700G, the downside to that is that it is going to be a PCIe 3.0 supported chip. So if you're doing that on a B550, for example, it's going to have no support for PCIe 4.0. What are your recommended RAM 6400 speeds and CL32 or 6000 CL30? 6400 32 is okay, but I usually, my sweet spot for AMD has always been 6000 CL30. And also AMD Expo targeted RAM, and of course, check that QVL or QCL or whatever the hell it is list. I'm tired, guys. I've been streaming all week. I want one, but I have no reason to change from the current case. No, yeah, I know. Don't bother investing in a case if, you know, if I find one for a good deal, I'll send you a note. But the P3s are really hard to find for a good deal. They're around $100 right now, I think, or 120 US dollars. And I think you're in Canada, aren't you? Should I get Ryzen or Intel, by the way? I like to listen to music while I game. So, Derek, welcome back to the Build Show. But you should probably stick with Ryzen. Intel's had a lot of problems. And also, their current socket that's out right now, you really can't do any upgrades. But as you can see, AMD has had their own issues. So you could potentially run into issues with it, but I mean, you could run into the same issues with Intel as well. So AMD is the better option because it's going to be a supported socket for at least until 2026. The AM5 socket. That's fine. I just want something stable. Never had any issues with the two AM4s. I know. Built 5 years ago. AM4 was a solid platform. But we did have issues back when DDR4 first came out. If you guys remember, if there's any OGs in here, like Steve, he probably remembers this, and Sniper Matt, you probably remember this. But back when DDR4 was first released, when we were kind of transitioning from DDR3 to DDR4, we had so many issues. It was a ton of it. We had a ton of issues, similar to kind of like what we're having with DDR5. So it's not uncommon. This is very normal. It's going to mature, and it's going to take time to mature. That's all I keep telling people over and over again. You just got to give it time to mature. Okay, now that the board is actually secured to the case, we can flip this over. And we can break these cables loose so we can get those plugged in. Then we're also going to remove that rear fan because we're going to replace it with one of the thermal rate fans that we have. The basement fans we are going to keep. We got to get those plugged in as well. One thing I didn't account for is that this does not have a hub. The price range on this case, I feel like it should have included a hub, FYI. That would be a nice add for them to add in the future, maybe. I don't know if their Y60 has one or not. But if you have a case that supports this many fans, we're going to need a hub. We got two there, one here, two here, one down here. Well, 1, 2, or one there. That's 2, 1. Yeah, we'll need a hub. 1, 2, 3. Fan. Yep. We're gonna need a hub. There's just no way around it. I think I have hubs here. B550 or X570. This is a X or a B550 board. It is the Aorus Elite AX V2 by Gigabyte. It's like the most solid board they produced in this 500 lineup for the 550 lineup. My favorite board out of their lineups by Gigabyte. Alright, next we have USB-C, which and USB 3.0, which is also at the bottom. Then we have HD audio and our front panel power. This is where things get a little tricky. Because we have that the riser already in there, you know, kind of gets in the way a little bit. I think we'll be okay. Where is this stove? Get out of the way, dude. This is kind of dumb. I don't know why I'm fighting this. Just do it. Okay. Number 1, USB 3.0. and then USB-C. Those two at the bottom, and then we have our HD audio here. And then the only other one that we're going to have to play with down here is our addressable RGB connection. We got one at the top, I think, yep, and one at the bottom. And we'll have to utilize the one at the bottom. There we go. Good to go. Got all our front panel stuff plugged in. Now let's remove this fan. We're going to be replacing that with another. Oh. Yeah, under there was a bit snug. Yes. Yes, it was. Still is for me, too. The King 95 Pro, would it be better to go vertical with the GPU or bottom fan setup? I'd keep the graphics card in its standard position, Cat, on the King 95 Pro. I would not go vertical in there. You could. There's nothing wrong with going vertical. As long as you get like the universal bracket, like the one Cooler Master sells. Because you could keep it closer to the motherboard and further away from the glass. But the further away from the glass you can get the card, the better it is for vertical. Because that airflow is where it becomes a problem when it gets too close to the glass. So definitely try to keep it away from the glass. Oh, the other complaint I had on this case is the fans they ship with are not PWM. They're just DC controlled. Again, not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and get our EPS cable in, then we'll get this fan in. And then we're ready to start trying to tackle, maybe we do the side fans, but we are ready to probably start tackling the, whatchamacallit, AIO. That thing. We got these pink and white cables to go in here. This is our EPS cable, which is our 8-pin, 4-pin plus 4-pin. This is what powers the U. Nope. Now, this I don't have to get like super crazy tiny with because AIO is going to cover up. It's going to come in like right. The AIO is going to be like right here up on it. Let's get this rear fan installed. Then I'm also going to get our hub installed. The AO covering, there's almost no point to have the EPS extension unless the PSU cables have capacitors that would make that bend. Nah. I mean, it pops out a little bit. You'll see it. Trying to find a good splitter here for us. I didn't order anymore, like a dum-dum. In a situation where I need a splitter. We could use. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't take into account is that this does not have a hub. I'm just so used to building in Montech. But it's okay, we have splitters and everything. We got it figured out. 90-second of ads is a rough. Rest in peace. Sorry. I think that's why you can sub and not have the ads. It also goes towards the $1 PC giveaway. All the revenue from the subs do. I did the ICE setup. That saved me. The IQ setup. I read ICE first, but that's IQ. Nice. Yeah, the IQ setup isn't bad, especially the new ones with their little magnetic connections. They're nice. Not gonna lie. It does make the RGB process and cables a lot easier. But they are significantly more expensive. So we're trying to save money on that and put it towards performance, which is mostly what we did here. Best we could. And then, yes. We'll end up with what we have. Not that I don't like Corsair. I don't like Corsair. Original Corsair IQ stuff. Dude, I hated that so bad. When they first came out with IQ, it had so many problems. It has since then gotten way better. There we go. We got one of the rear fan in. I think we go ahead and drop this AIO in and get that done and over with. So I can stop thinking about it. Go ahead and tackle that. Unfortunately, I'll have to separate the fans that are pre-installed on the radiator, just so we can put it on this bracket properly. This is a little unique. We have to put the fans on the outside, the radiator on the... I'm sorry, the fans on the inside, the radiator on the outside. So you guys, this is a little bit unique. The downside to that is that you have this metal going over the radiator. Not the biggest fan of that. Well, you see, fans are already pre-installed here. We have to remove those. Dude. Dude. And once we get past the cooler and the fans here, pretty much a home stretch. Not much more left other than putting a graphics card in, power supply, cable management, and then firing this thing up. But I was predicting about 9:40, 10 o'clock. We're kind of on target. Yeah, I give this design by height for the AIO radiator, I give them a D-. Go look at Montech's design and do that. It's so simple. This is only impacting the installation process. This does not impact performance or anything like that. More of the build experience when you build your own PC. I'd give height definitely a D- with this design on the installation of this radiator. There's so much unnecessary work involved here. Make it way more complicated than it should be. Okay, and hopefully I put the fans on the right way. Just kidding, I did. That rad holder is a minus 510. Yes. Minus 5 out of 10. Just a lot of extra work just to put this in there. King 95 Pro is better case. I mean, it's both cases are thought out very nicely. There's just some things on this height case that I don't like. And that is, number one, this AIO install. Number two, the price of the case, and you don't even get a fan hub or anything like that. Kind of like, nah, a little cheesy cheap on their end. For the quality of case and the price you're paying for, it's almost $200 case. Still, like $180 or something like that. Somewhere in that price range. But it's you'd think that it would be like a breeze to build in or perfect with that price point. But there's a lot of things that I don't like. The only thing that I really like is that it gives you that riser cable for going vertical. The problem is that's really the only option, is to go vertical. This case is not designed to do a standard. Although I think you can do a standard if you absolutely needed to. You could make that work. Don't know if that's going to drop in without any problems around the cables. Before we drop that in, I just want to see if we can do that. Cables aren't sagging down into the view. And I also have to peel the peels before I drop this in there. Just wanted to make sure it all fit. This thing, these fans, should I say, ton of peels with the mirror finish. Amazingly, this thing fit like a charm. Kind of happy about that, because I would not have been happy if I had to do any extra work there to install this AIO. Like the time I tried to put an EKW AIO in here, in this case, it did not fit, and I had to grind away a corner of the case over here. Okay. Not gonna go in, I guess. There we go. All right, that radiator is secured. Now, get this block. get to put the block on. We're going to block the CPU. What's the AIO, Lian Li? No, this is actually a Thermalbright Frozen Infinity 360mm AIO. Available on Amazon, which is a $70-ish AIO. Anyway, the King 95 Pro by Montech and this one here by Height, the Y70, or I'm sorry, Y60. They're both unique in their own ways. They can't be considered the same case, because they're not. There we go. But as you can see some of the pink right here, which gives it a little accent. The pink and the white. Got a little accent there. My opinion. Option pump. And then the addressable RGB caterpillars. Centipede. And then the last thing I got to do is get the radiator fans. Back to the CPU fan header. Which is also going to be a centipede chain. Go. Now we're going to get a couple of zip ties and clean this up real quick on the front side right here. just so we keep these cables nice and neat. You went standard with the 4080 Super. How do you get that thing in there standard? Does it have a bracket? This is short. It had to have gone vertical. Are you sure you're not talking about the Y70, Dad Bods? Oh, it's a tight fit in here. There we go. See how we clean that cable up? Gonna get it looking a little more symmetrical there. Blends in nicely. All right. Move on to the 24 pin and our side fans. We'll be making some serious progress. Might be able to get this thing powered on soon. Right? Oh man, I've been building PCs all week. You could tell. You could feel it at the end of the week when you've been building all week. Like, oh, man. I have been building all week. And not just builds, but I've also been doing repairs and services and all sorts of stuff. It was a busy one. Not complaining. We're just getting these cable combs on the cables, so it kind of keeps them nice and tidy, nice and neat. So on these cables specifically, these combs are a little bit loosey-goosey, but not bad. Not gonna let the cable go, it's just sliding potential is high. Put on that one. go. More pink. Looking pretty cool. Once we get that graphics card in there, though, it'll look even more cool. Alright, so let's get these two fans mounted here on the side. Then we'll focus on getting the rest of this plugged in. Actually, we could take care of these. Oh. Going a little excessive here with the but gonna save my cable management time later. At least that's how I view it. Little time now, less time later. This RGB is going to be one of those things of all time. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's going to have some pretty good accent to it. I don't know that it's going to be like the greatest of all time or the biggest of all time. All right. Kind of got that a little bit under control. Now let's tackle these side fans now that I'm more comfortable. After we did all that. Two fans to install on the side here. Let's get those done. Now it's probably the more boring part of the stream. Oh, missed. Are the AIO fans mirror also? Yes, yes they are. They're the same fans. Cat, same fans. Sigma, what's up, Tyler? Welcome to the Bill Show. Tattoo. I feel the same way, but the tattoos with the tattoos. Always someone in my personal bubble. I'm just peopled out by the end of the week. Yeah, man. It's not that I'm like peopled out. I'm more built out. There is, I guess, such a thing as building too many PCs. Looks bubblicious. Oh yeah, it's nice and clean. Stinkson. Can I use an AIO cooling setup in a full tower case? It honestly, so full tower, ATX, micro ATX and ITX are all just size, like chassis size standards. So it's not that I can answer that question without knowing exactly what case you have, because you could have a full tower from 15 years ago that doesn't support an AIO. Or you can have a full tower from this year that does support a 420 millimeter AIO, or 360 millimeter AIO, or 240 millimeter AIO. Hopefully a full tower does support at least a 360, but it depends on what case you have, Stank. So that's going to be the follow-up question, is what case do you have, and then I can tell you if it supports a radiator or an AIO. So do you know what case you have? I don't want to give you a bad advice and say, yeah, of course a full tower does. Mr. Max had an itch. Where did I put my screws that came with this? Gosh. Let me know what tower you got and I can answer that question. As I slowly get these fans installed. Hopefully I left the screwdriver facing the right way. Not the wrong way, the right way. These are not reversed, and I don't think they're available in reverse, so we are putting them on the opposite direction that I normally would have with reversed. Empower Gaming Computers, is building PCs your main job, or do you have something else? So this was my full-time gig in 2023. We had enough builds and enough orders to go full-time. So that's why you see here on the build count, 2023 we had 733 builds, and this year, 2024, we're at 150. This is actually 157. So I actually need to update that count, but significantly way less builds than we did last year. So unfortunately, because of that, cash flow got a little tight, and I had to go get an IT job. So I am a consultant for another firm right now. But I mean, it pays the bills and it gives us medical insurance. We're also expecting an addition to the family here in October, which, if you all know your dads, you know that adding a member to the family is quite expensive. Having that medical insurance is very important. So I had to get another job at the beginning of the year when we figured out things weren't going as planned for 2024. And I think the main reason why we had a whole bunch of drop-offs in orders is because of the economy. The economy is 100% at fault for our slow business this year. But yeah, 2024 or 2023 was super exciting. We went and completely blew out our record from 2022. It was awesome. It was a very good year. And we went full-time that year because I just couldn't keep up. If I didn't go full-time, I wouldn't have been able to keep up. Dang it. I typically don't use my teeth for something like that, but oh my gosh. What's up? What was that Discord again, Ant-Man? I will I'll resend you I'll send you the link again, but this time you gotta promise to click it. Hold on, I'll get to you in just a second. I'm not very experienced. I only built like 10 to 15 since the late 90s. Oh, that's a pretty good number for an individual. So by you saying you're not very experienced, I don't think that's true. You got more experience than most people, especially if you built in the olden days, in the beginning, since the 90s. That was a lot more work to put a PC together back in the 90s than it is today. You know, you had to stick a floppy in to boot to a floppy, to then boot to a CD drive, to then install Windows 98, which then I think you even had to do some if I remember correctly, you had to do some command prompt to actually partition the drive or format it to get it ready to install Windows. Versus now with our installation Windows, you just plug a USB drive in, and then the BIOS detects that it is a bootable drive and boots to it automatically, gets you to the installation wizard. The installation wizard allows you to format there, and you don't have to do like 80% of that work or 90% of that work. It's all done in the wizard now. It's so easy compared to what it was in the 90s. So you did more work than most people, Mitch. Are you having twins? We are not having twins. From all the problems from Micro Center, my wife told me to get a pre-built. I did get a iBuyPower i7 14th gen, and it runs great. Awesome. Probably cheaper than I could have built. Maybe. Only if it was like a major sale. Time for Matt. If you deem the cable management excessive, I'll upload an older pic one of the sleeper pics. Yeah, send it over on my Discord, man. I'm gonna send that link to you, Ant-Man. Yeah. And there's the Discord link. I hope you're not going to ask me for that again tomorrow. Well, I won't be streaming tomorrow, but... I'm just teasing you at this point. We must be coming up on 2 hours. We are. Holy shit. I mean, shoot. Don't say that word. Bad word. Going a lot later than I thought I would. I think I've spent too much time talking and too much time cable managing. Not that either of those are bad. Jar Dirt, you back? The wings were good, yeah. What wings did you eat? Do you have like any special sauces with your wings? Because I'm all about that sauce. Yes, I need the drivers on a floppy drive for the CD. I remember those 95. Oh, so you remember those days? Yeah, those were the days. Kids these days don't even understand what we had to go through to install Windows back then. They don't know the struggle. Oh yeah. That's some clean cable management right there. I mean, it's not, yeah, I could have like a 10 times thousand, but I'm not getting paid $1 million for this build, right? I'm joking. My goal is to make it clean and to make it serviceable. If I ever have to go back in here and service it, I can undo this harness and have access to all the RGB cables right here. It has to make sense. The rest of it is fine, just the way it is. Except for that. That should not be in there. Thank you. Sure. You can tell when Ben's been doing a lot of... You don't look that old. Guess my age. How old do you think I am? And I can give you a little bit of a hint, because I'll tell you I'm on my 3rd kid. You can kind of do some maths there. But it doesn't mean that that's accurate. Costco wings, not sure what seasoning, if any. My brother Ethan put them on. Nice. Seasoning is always good. The sauce is what makes the wing, in my opinion. The wing does not make the sauce. All right, I'm in. Nice. Welcome, Ant-Man. Welcome to the Discord server. All right, guys, let's drop this graphics card in, shall we? That is one thing that I do like about this case is the design, where you could literally drop the card in, 2 screws, done. And to remove it, 2 screws, the clip, remove, done. That is nice. Get this graphics card in here though. We've got the Ice Baby by Gigabyte. It's the Ice version, so it's white. It's the Eagle OC Ice 8GB RTX 4060. Absolutely stunning card. When it comes to white aesthetics, I think Gigabyte wins. They nailed it, by the way, because you're constantly looking for a white graphics card and a white motherboard for your white build. And they finally, Gigabyte got it right. It was like, hey, let's make a white graphics card and a white motherboard and let's call it the Ice series. Finally, a manufacturer got it right. Asus would do it too, but they'd only build like 5 of them and then they'd cost $8,000. Oh, let's make white ones? Well, let's only manufacture like 5 of them, so they're $5,000 a piece. Gigabyte's like, nah, let's mass produce it. That's why I support it. Because it doesn't cost $5,000 for a white graphics card. MSI is starting to get on that project for it as well. Got all sorts of peels to peel here too. We got peels for days, guys. Peels for days. Need to get one of my kids down here to start peeling these things pre-stream. Start the child labor stuff. Some kids have chores where they have to go mow the lawn. The others, they have to do the cable combs and pre-peel. Dang it. Oh yeah, this thing's gonna look absolutely fantastic in here. I am telling you guys right now. Feels so good. Wait till I show you this one. Absolutely beautiful. You guys ready to see this? Is your Discord private? It shouldn't be. There might be some areas that might be private. Look at that. That's pretty dope looking. All right, let's get our PCIe, pink PCIe cable in here to make it even more dope. Pink and white. This thing is just badass. There's some days that I impress myself. In the last like 3 builds, I've just impressed the crap out of myself. Like, dang, Ben, you put together a pretty good build. Maybe I am good at this. It's not. Okay. They let you in? Should be. Yeah, I should have just let you in. Let me take a look. Ant-Man, did you have any problems getting in there? Let me double check the link that I sent here in just a moment when I finish these cable combs and flip this back over for you guys so you can check this out while I do that. All right. Check that out. There you go. Look at that thing. A little bit of an angle for you. Well, check that out. All right, let me go take a look at the link. Yeah, that link should work. Oh, you're in. You had to open up Discord? Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I was like, I don't know, it should work. There's no restrictions on it. Pretty much wide open. Terrible. Probably bad. I'll have to find somebody that knows Discord modding and see if they can help us. I ain't got time for that. Very nice build. Thank you. Very nice looking. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. I'm in. Awesome. Yeah, I just saw that chat up there. But yeah, this thing turned out super nice looking. Got a little bit of a gap on a cable right here. We could put one more zip tie there. Just another zip tie. But then all we got to do is drop a power supply in and do a little bit more cable management and we're good to go. We'll fire this thing up here in soon. Very soon. There we go. A bit tight and clean. All right. Power supply time. Dolly. Nice parking spot for a power supply right there. We're getting close. We're at 10:10. Oh, I'm a little over my time estimation. I did go over. Yeah, we chatted a lot. In the beginning, we had a lot of chat going on. Good to see. Ow. This is a 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply, so there's nothing too crazy about this power supply. We had to meet a specific budget. Yes, we could have gone with a bigger power supply to get a little bit more headroom for upgrades in the future, but this is still a great power supply to start with. And I know it's not modular, which is another minus for the aesthetics, but that's only on the backside, and really if you're going to be on the backside of your computer a lot, which I doubt they will unless they need something, and it'll probably end up coming to me. At least that's what I assume. I know a guy that set up my Discord, but yours looks fine to me. Okay. I'm talking about like permissions and stuff. It's pretty much wide open except for like the live stream area. I know how to do it. I just don't have the time. It's just one more thing to manage, and I can't manage one more thing. I'm so in over my head. I may not look like I'm in over my head, but there's days where I'm like, if one more thing hits, that I'm done. We're going on vacation. We're having an early weekend. I'm joking. I don't ever do that. Come on. Okay, this is weird. Kind of getting awkward. Here's the hole. We got a nice little pocket down here for extra cables, and we of course can utilize those pockets as well. We're going to run our cables logically, store them logically in case there's upgrades in the future. Like for example, our EPS cables bend down here, this way. That is where it should rest. There. In the future it's ever needed. We have a 24 pin here. Again, we're going to bend down, run it up. And then we have PCIe. And we have all these extra cables. These are extra cables for the future. I know a guy. Oh, yeah, my friend does. Okay. Well, if he's interested in helping, more than happy to meet him. Maybe he just has some tips on how to make it easier. Hello. Oh. Okay. Sorry. I don't know. What do you guys think of that cable management? Is that good enough? Or do we have to do more here? One more here. Oh, you think probably more? Huh. You the boss? You are? Oh. What do you think of that? Hey, what's up? R. Lewis, welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Morning. Actually, good night for me, but morning for you. Beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Who's ready to see this thing fired up? Cleaner than mine for sure. It wasn't that much. I didn't do that much. I think it's all good. Oh, because you know? Okay. Okay. Oh. Good. Yes. You guys think I'm gonna have any trouble powering this thing on? Mitch says, is Jaden still in here watching? Doing good, working on an older Optiplex. Just got to do some troubleshooting and get it running properly as I'm giving it to someone. Okay, what Optiplex is it? What's wrong with it? Look at that thing. on that ASUS build I returned when I installed Windows 11. I got some kinds of compatibility here. I had to use disk partition command line to clean and format the disk. Oh, that's kind of weird. Jar of Dirt's in. Mitch Hammond. Heyman. I don't know what I'm trying to say. 790 with a 2nd gen i7 2600 plus a 1050 Ti and 1 terabyte SSD. Oh, that's not bad. The CPU is getting a little bit older though. Those are getting harder and harder to use for games. Does peel come off? Still off. All right, let's get this thing plugged in, and then I'll give you guys a side view. You guys can see it fired up for the very first time. All right, side view. I hope Jaden's still here. She's gonna tell us. Jaden, are you still here? You gotta tell us to power this thing on. It is your duty. Yes. All right, Jaden. You let us know when you're ready to push this power button. It's the very first time that we're powering this thing up. You tell me to push this power button. Like, hey man. Hey man. What? Fighter of the Snowman. I don't know. Is the case noob friendly? This case isn't that bad. It does. There's a couple areas that I'm like, nah, could have been easier. Jaden, cool PC, Jaden. I like the height cases. Yes, I do like the case too. There's a couple of things that I think they could have done better with. All right, Jaden, we're still waiting on you to tell us to power this thing up. I know there might be a delay in the YouTube chat. There almost always is. It's mostly to be used with it'll mostly be for use with a capture card, the Elgato HD60 Pro. Okay, gotcha, Lewis, over on Twitch. See how tired I'm getting? Sniper Matt, I've posted the Sleeper PC to your Discord. You'll think I'm crazy. Probably. Are the fans colored? Yes, but we haven't turned it on yet. We're waiting for Jaden to tell us to hit that power button. We need Jaden to say, hit that power button. Well, we know the memory RGB works. Jaden is asleep. I don't think Jaden's asleep. Jaden just said she was here. Can you power it on? Yes, Jaden. Yes, I'm going to power it on for you. I was waiting for you to tell me to power it on. Sorry, here we go, guys. 3, 2, 1. We have power. We have lights. So by default, Gigabyte throws out this standard color of orange when you first turn it on. Once we get into Windows and once we get into in setting up the RGB software, we'll be able to adjust these RGB lights to whatever color you want. So we're stuck with the orange until we get past Windows, which is not going to be shown here on the stream. That is the Gigabyte base color that they always show, their signature color. And you do have RGB at the top too. I like the orange. Yeah. I always call it. The Heights Y70 is my dream case. Yeah, I think that's everybody's dream case. It's really hard to get. Most of them are back ordered by months. Whoa, 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 amazing. Thank you. Very cool. Looks great. Love the case. Yes. The Height Y60 was a step forward, I think, for the modern aesthetics of gaming PCs. That is definitely the, as well as Leon Lee's 011 Dynamic, but Height took it another step forward. You know, a lot of competition in the case area, which is nice because we always get really cool looking cases that come out of it. And this was one of them. Default Gigabyte orange. Yep. Gigabytes are insane geniuses when it comes to low profile GPUs. Yeah. I mean, this thing turned out. This thing, I think it looks so good. That white graphics card was just the icing on the cake. We originally were going to have a 2-fan Zotac, but I ended up getting this white card, and I really like the look of this one. This is, I think, the Wind Force, I think is what it's called. But it has the black fans with the white casing around it, and it really kind of blends well with the case, especially with the black motherboard in the background. I thought it would blend very nicely with the color scheme. And then even when we do have the glass on here, you'll notice at the top right here, there is a little bit of a black accent right here at the top of the glass. I don't have the glass panel on this side right now, but there's a little bit of black accent going on here, even though it's the white snow, but it's there. You'll see it. So it blends well. No, the bottom fans do not light up. They're actually down below in the basement, the bottom fans. There's 2 fans in the basement. And that is the reason why we didn't even bother putting RGB lights in there, is because you won't really see them. They're going to be buried underneath the chassis. So it is acting as intake, and it's blowing air in from down here. The bottom of this case area down here is vented. So the fans are down inside there. But they don't light up. And these do not light up either. But we could always add an addressable RGB strip if you like some more RGB down there. I thought it was a good balance of RGB being, you know, at the top and the sides. I thought it would be a good balance. Yes, the bottom in this case, generally, if the graphics card does not have any RGB, in this case, usually the bottom half of the case is pretty much bare from the RGB stuff. Yes, Mitch, you are 100% correct. The 7800X3D is like finding a leprechaun right now. It is a very big pain in the butt to find. I built my last 7800X3D earlier this week, and since then I have not been able to find them for a decent price. Is it safe to leave the side panel off a PC? Yes, it is 100% safe, other than the cons is, one, you can get more dust into the system because it's not controlled airflow entering the system. Two, if anybody splashes any type of liquid nearby the PC, there is no protection in front. That large area is just wide open, so liquid could get in there very easily. That is the downside to it, is the dust and the potential that something can bump one of the internal components, or liquid can get in there a lot easier. So, not that the case is waterproof, but the glass would stop liquid. Or if you sneezed even and got liquid somewhere, some of your spit or a sneeze or a booger got inside the PC, it could potentially cause some problems. I had the 7700X that I returned with the other parts. Oh yeah, the 7700X is good. Yeah, the 7700X is pretty much your go-to CPU right now while waiting on the 7800X 3D restock, or the Ryzen 7 97, I guess it would be a 9800X or 7900X, sorry. How does that work? Yeah, 9700, 9800X. It would be a 9800X 3D, which hopefully they will eventually release, and then maybe that's the discontinue of the 7800X 3D. I don't know. How are the temps in that kind of case? This case does really good with temps, unless you have a 3-slot card, which puts the card right up on the glass, and then the graphics card does overheat a little bit, and you do start seeing thermal throttles when you have a 3-slot card, unless you remove the glass. In this case, it's only, this build, it's only a 2-slot card, so there's a whole slot between the glass and the graphics card fan, so there's plenty of space there for airflow. Yeah, it's perfectly fine to leave it in sleep mode. Yeah. There's no danger to that. Unless you're afraid your PC is going to wake up and maybe attack you in your sleep. That would be a really nice commercial, actually. Waking up to your PC with a funny face on it next to you after you put it to sleep. I've never had a AIO, not a fan of it, but they do look nice. Yeah, the one benefit of the AIO, Mitch, the way I look at it, is it's a way of controlling where the heat from the CPU goes. With a air cooler, you could still control it, but you could control it a lot easier with an AIO. So for example, right now, we have the radiator at the top of this case, and we have the fans on the radiator set to exhaust. So all the heat from the CPU is being pushed directly out of the case. We are controlling where the heat goes from the CPU, which is directly out. I've never did an AIO, not a fan. But like I said, we could just control it. LOL. I'm assuming that was in regards to the PC coming after me in the sleep joke. Alright guys, well, I am done for the night. I know we're at, what are we at? 2 hours and 27 minutes on the stream, so we definitely went over. I apologize. But here it is, Jaden. We got your PC built, so the next step is going to be doing the Windows install, the drivers, the BIOS updates, and all that. I'm going to try to work on this a little bit tomorrow. I'll see if I can get it done tomorrow, but I'll let you know when it's ready for pickup, Steve, so you can come pick it up. But I'd say anywhere between tomorrow, because normally tomorrow's my day off, my only day off in the week, or Monday, I should have it ready. One of the two. Oh, you have a fear of liquid in your case. Yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility, but for the most part, I mean, out of all the AIOs I've ever deployed, I've never, ever, ever, ever had one leak. Not one. Not a single AIO. Take care, man. Have a good night. Thanks, man. Ant-Man, thanks for hanging out. Have a great night. Thank you. You too, Army Vet, Dad Bods, and Drop Shots. Looks good. Thank you. Kind of did not catch your chat over there. Sleep mode is what I'm trying to fix on mine, ironically. Oh, geez. I hadn't even seen the crazy temps yet with mine, as an FYI. Haven't seen any crazy temps. Yeah. I mean, if you have a... You said you had your card in a standard position, right? Or did I mistake that? Can you add figurines? Figurines. Yes. Yep, you could definitely add figurines to the front here, right here. So we could just remove the side panel that I have off right now, and you can add some figurines right there in the front. Would be safe to put them there, yeah. Rainbow lights, yes, you can change them to rainbow lights or any other desired color. You'll be able to do that from the software once I get Windows installed, and once I get the software installed, we'll be able to manage and change these lights. Right now, Windows is not installed and the RGB software is not installed, so I can't change the lights. And this is Gigabyte's default option when they first turn on, which they changed in their new motherboards they just released. So now, when you fire up a Gigabyte motherboard, it's no longer orange, it's rainbow. But yes, you can add figurines. Yep. And then, yes, we'll be able to change this to rainbow or whatever color you want. It's not stuck on orange. That's just the default color that we're stuck with when I first turn it on. Mine's set up just like you have there. Oh, so this is the vertical. So as long as it's... Is it a 2-slot card? You said it was a 4070, right? Or a 4080 Super? So that, I think, is a 2-slot card. So, yeah, it's not right up on the glass. It should be fine. Nice meeting you, too, as well, Mitch. It was nice meeting you. Sorry, I don't always get to see every single chat. How long does it take for dust buildup in an open frame case? It's pretty quick. It happens pretty quick because the dust just settles in there, right? The 4080 Super, yeah. Yep. Which I think is, most of them are 2 slots. So it shouldn't be right up on the glass, so the temps should be fine for you. It's when you get into the 3-slot 4090. That's when it becomes a problem in the Y60. But I mean, if you're doing a 4090, you may as well just go to the Y70 and save yourself the trouble. When I get my case, I'm gonna stream it so you can laugh at me. No, I'm not gonna laugh at you. I'll cheer you on. You stream it right to the Discord if you want. All right, guys. I'm done for the night. Have a good night, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thank you, everybody who joined us. And I'm not sure exactly which day our next stream will be. I do have more builds I could do here, but they're fix or flip. They're fix flips / stock inventory. So we're not doing any custom builds for people, at least as of right now, this next week. But we do have tons of fix flips that we could do. I have a pile of parts and components over here that we could work on. Can you put decorations in it or anything like that? Yes, you can. You can put figurines inside the front here. It's safe to do so right there in the front. Which you just take off the side panel right here, which I have off right now, and then you'll be able to put your figurines in there. Nice build. Get some rest. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Tat. Ant-Man, good night. Can you add figurines on the inside? Also, those rainbow lights are able to make them your desirable color. Yes. Yes. Lights we can change to RGB, rainbow. Yes, you could put figurines in there. I could show you how to do that if you come with your dad to pick up. Or I'll show your dad how to do it. Great build stream as always. Thank you. Enjoyed watching. GG's. Thanks, Gary Smith. You guys all have a good rest of your night. Have a good night, Dad Bods, Army Vet. We'll see you guys.